Deven Darnel. We are the piece to the puzzle productions. Please like, share, and subscribe. Consuming cannabis has never been fully accepted in a society. Many intellectuals have argued over the debate of planting this herb. Moreover, in some religious communities, it is even considered a taboo to use this herb. That is why, in this video, we are going to discuss about the places that have absolute zero tolerance regarding the consumption of cannabis herb. So, without further ado, let's get started. To clear things first, it is without a shadow of a doubt that, like any other drug, cannabis herb has its advantages and disadvantages. The latter can also lead to a stressful and depressed lifestyle. That's why many countries have literally banned this herb. According to the Canadian Travel Advisory, if its citizens are caught red-handed having this drug in possession or even get caught smoking it in public places, then the Canadian government would not try to intervene and act as a mediator for its citizens. Yes, you heard that right. So better be careful when you try to have some extra fun. Apart from the fact that countries like South Africa, Canada, and 10 American states have legalized the consumption of this drug, it's still very difficult for consumers of cannabis to find societies that are truly accepting in this regard, and people can find themselves in hot waters if by any chance they are seen smoking a pot. South Korea, a developed country with the state-of-the-art infrastructure and, moreover, a comparatively liberal state as compared to its arch-rival North Korea, has even threatened to prosecute any of its citizens who happen to consume pot while visiting Canada. If that citizen happens to be one of those iconic Korean pop idol, then you can pretty much imagine what will happen to his glorious career. Yet, apart from all this, South Korea is still one of the most accepting places for cannabis consumers in all of Asia, the continent in which countries have even sentenced death penalty for even minor trafficking. Saudi Arabia, a large country located on the Arabian Peninsula, routinely executes hashish dealers. This is no exaggeration that this country beheads nearly around 150 criminals a year, with a large percentage of criminals being guilty of drug-related crimes. While many of those are for harsher drugs such as heroin, cannabis-related killings are not unknown. As a matter of fact, in 2014, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia decapitated 4 men on the accusations of smuggling large quantities of cannabis. However, personal possession of drugs by civilians is treated much lightly with the penalty of almost 2 years in prison, or they may get off with a lashing. That is why, to be on the safe side, you better not get yourself involved in those activities if you're planning a foreign trip. This harsh treatment of the kingdom towards drug-related crimes is no big surprise, as the states in which governments are based on Islamic theocracy often tend to discourage bad norms spreading into the society. Same is the case with Iran, a semi-democratic country run by Islamic theocracy. According to the article published by Amnesty International's, Iran, along with Saudi Arabia, is one of the few countries that have executed drug-related criminals. This can be proved by the fact that Islamic Republic of Iran has as many as 5,000 people on death row for drug offenses. They have also made it a law to send off someone with 80 lashes if he or she has alcohol in his or her possession. However, despite all of this, the government seems to be quite lenient towards personal possession of the drugs, which according to the New York Times, has made cannabis a growing drug of choice in the Middle Eastern giant. Still, Iran continues to execute drug dealers and consumers with caveats to some extent. Also, Iran has provided some relief to the consumers by raising the amount of drug possession from 5 kg to 50 kg, and anything over it would certainly lead you to be hanging on the gallows. So, be careful, folks. It's not like you have 7 other lives. Next on our list is People's Republic of China. Everyone has heard of the infamous Robert Schellenberg incident, a Canadian who now faces the death penalty on a charge of smuggling 200 kilograms of meth. Only from this, you can get a slight hint of how strict the rules are over there. In 2014, Jaycee Chan's son, Jaycee, spent 6 months in jail after being caught with 100 grams of cannabis. The Chinese Communist government may also ban any music or film featuring an actor who has been caught with drugs. The Chinese government tries its earnest to maintain public and social norms to its very best. That's why they impose such strict rules and prescribe strict sentences to maintain the writ of the government. Last but not the least is the island country of Singapore. To some, this country might be paradise itself, but for those who smoke pot, this place is no safe haven. Singapore is famous for its strict sentences, including cannings for vandals and even steep fines for failing to flush a public toilet. Sounds ridiculous, ain't it? Well, there's more to it. Singapore courts may hand the death penalty to anyone caught with more than 500 grams of cannabis, amounting to roughly 1,000 joints. This happened as recently as 2016, when a Nigerian named Shojiok Obioha was showed his way to the gallows for having 2.6 kilograms of drugs in possession. As the case of Obioha illustrates, Singapore also does not hesitate for a second from punishing foreigners. This is in contrast to the likes of Saudi Arabia or China, which are more inclined to simply deporting foreign nationals when they are caught with a few grams of weed. This may indicate their stronger foreign policy and the awareness of their own economic and geopolitical stratum. Because of their socioeconomic status, Singapore doesn't even need to find evidence of drug possession to jail a foreign national. The wealthy island nation appears to be the world's only country that will administer drug tests to visiting foreign nationals and then arrest anyone who fails, thus saving both the parties from a lot of hassle. The drawbacks of this procedure is that the Canadians and other foreign nationals can only visit Singapore only a few weeks after a legal pot brownie, and find themselves in police custody. That's why Canadian Travel Advisory mentions it quite precisely not to consume any sorts of drugs before visiting the island nation of Singapore. That makes Singapore an extremely hard land for those who want to have a recreational use of cannabis herb. The government of Singapore is extremely strict in this regard, and that's why they go to any extent in punishing foreign nationals and even local citizens in order to maintain social systems efficiency. The reason why East Asian countries have imposed such strict regulations may be because majority of the population there have grown older than average, and in order to maintain the social norms and not to burden the healthcare centers, the governments have taken strict measures against the consumption of drugs, especially cannabis herb. These were the top, most unwanted places to visit if you have been consuming cannabis plant on a regular basis. So, we hope that you have wrote that down. There are still many places with strict laws, unusual punishments, and even greater penalties. But that's it for today's video. If you find this video interesting and if it increased your awareness regarding this topic, then give us a thumbs up down there. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your family and friends. Deven Darnel, you are a piece to the puzzle productions. Please like, share, and subscribe.